Welcome back to the Aftermath. It's just finished Tottenham Hotspur 2, West Ham United 0. I've got to say, I'm not happy that West Ham lost the game. I am going to be critical of West Ham, and I'll get onto that in a bit. But for some reason, I'm not as mad as I was after the Wolves game. I think overall, West Ham were the better team in the first half. I just think that in the second half, although West Ham were connecting onto more long balls than Spurs and getting forward at times, Spurs were just a lot more clinical. They were fortuitous to go ahead with that own goal from Tomas Soucek, and the Harry Kane goal, that was Antonio's fault, giving the ball away. I'm going to now get into my full review of the game, breaking it down and giving my thoughts. Changes were needed and they were made, to be fair. Anderson was dropped, rightly so, because he performed very badly against Wolves. Rice was back in the midfield. Antonio, Fornals and Jarrod Bowen were up top. My one problem with that was, although Fornals was playing in the attacking role, as he normally does, he works better behind the striker, not alongside the strikers. And even more so, as I said in the last video, for the Wolves defeat, Antonio and Bowen are not strikers. They are more wingers. They are more attacking midfielders. As in the defence, Balbuena started alongside Diop, which is what Manuel Pellegrini used to do. And he did that because they both had leadership qualities. They were both captains at the former teams. Balbuena hadn't played for a while, but I must admit he put in quite a shift. And Diop in the first half put in quite a shift. He was clearing the ball out. He wasn't letting balls get into the box. And when they were in the box, he was clearing out of corners. He was doing his fundamental job as a centre-back, and that was good. Fredericks replaced Ngakia, and Ngakia looks to have played his last ever game for West Ham. Fredericks kind of contributed a little bit in the first half. I'd say first half as well, Cresswell did a lot better. He was getting to space more. He was tightly marking Aurier. I know this has gone against popular opinion. I've seen Facebook groups, but in my opinion anyway, West Ham were that better team in the first half because they were using space more, getting forward a bit more, and for the opening 5 to 10 minutes, threatened Spurs' goal. Antonio chested that down to Noble. He took one too many touches and Lloris gathered it up. Speaking of Noble, he had a poor game. He didn't make a lot of passes, didn't contribute a hell of a lot, and he was subbed eventually. And I'll get onto that in a little bit. And I know he's captain, I know he's Mr. West Ham. He's a great guy and represents the club really well, but we have to base things on performances. He should be dropped. I thought Bowen just absolutely ran his arse off. Declan Rice ran his arse off. Bowen was a championship player for the most part. He's come into a Premier League team and he's played better than most of our Premier League regulars. So kudos to him. He was non-stop. Antonio, I do like Antonio, but I think he could be more of an impact sub now. I wouldn't see a problem with starting Yarmolenko. Antonio is a strong player. He did link up well with Declan Rice's ball, but he didn't have the firepower. Hoping he finds it soon though, because he is a goal scorer. He can score goals, but he didn't have the firepower against Spurs. I also noticed in the first half as well, Spurs couldn't get a lot of crosses in, and they couldn't connect with players. Aurier particularly struggled. Heung-min Son did score that goal just on the 45-minute mark, which got ruled offside. Was the correct decision, but that should have been a wake-up call to West Ham to get their act together a little bit tighter. Lucky, to say the least, and I think that's probably the first time a VAR decision's actually gone in West Ham's favour. So I didn't complain about that. It was still 0-0 at half-time. It was a point. West Ham were looking pretty good. I wasn't too annoyed. Second half started off okay. I mean, Bowen and Fornals and Antonio were doing pretty well, as was Declan Rice. He was getting involved with the midfield, defending and crossing. He did quite a lot actually in that half. The Fornals chance, it was similar. It looked so similar to the move that led to his goal against Liverpool. So similar. And he just struck it off target. I was thinking, you're better than that, Pablo Fornals. You have to nail that. You have to get that in the goal. And he missed it. Very wasteful from him. Bowen continued to run the show for West Ham. He was really good in the second half. He put crosses in, he had chances, contributed, he did his bit. One thing that would later prove to be West Ham's downfall in that second half were the counter-attacks, Spurs' counter-attacks. Soon as Spurs broke away, our defenders were rushing back. We managed to save our skin quite a few times by just getting bodies back. And I was just thinking, okay, it's good that we're defending, but how long is that going to last? The goal Spurs scored, I didn't even realise it had gone in. There's a little bit of debate that Sanchez handled the ball, and that's been a talking point on Twitter and social media, but the point is it was checked on the VAR, nothing was given. What I will say to Soucek is, yes, he scored the own goal, but I don't want that to get him 2 down, because he's been really good so far for West Ham. And one little thing like that, I just thought, we're doing quite well, and then for something like that to go in, it kind of threw things out of the water. That wasn't what was annoying. It's the fact that Moyes, yet again, doesn't use the 5 substitutes and has waited for West Ham to go 1-0 down to even make the subs. Good that Noble came off, good that Fornals came off, because Fornals struggled in the second half. But he brings on Anderson, and he brings on Lanzini. Anderson came on, and yet again, didn't do a hell of a lot. Okay, he had a shot on goal, but didn't do a lot. I'm going to say this right now, he just is doing this because he knows that if West Ham get relegated, he can leave in the summer. And if he's got that in his head, it's not a good attitude. At all. Lanzini, okay, but he's not been good all season, in all honesty. I wanted to see Ayeti and Yarmolenko and Wilshere come on. Ayeti especially, because he's a natural striker. It says in his position, striker. He scores goals. I said this against Wolves. I'm sounding like a broken record again. Ayeti is a striker. He can score goals. So put the striker on. I will say as well, West Ham only made 2 substitutes in that game. There's 5. West Ham made 2 subs, and there are a maximum of 5 substitutes. Second goal, I will say, was a bad one to give away. And Antonio is going to be at fault at that because he gave the ball away to Spurs, they counter. Harry Kane goes one-on-one with Fabianski, and he fires it in. Well taken effort from Kane, though, outside the box. But Fabianski conceded 2 goals. I won't get on his back. Didn't really put a foot wrong, and he was unfortunate to concede the 2 goals. The thing is, Moyes did make changes, and I agreed with some of them. I thought, oh, okay, it's a good side he's putting out. It's not too bad, that. I'm liking the look of things there. But the problem is, it's what he's doing in the game. The game was crying out for West Ham to score, and they had plenty of potential and opportunity to do that, but just not with the right positions nor players. Yarmolenko could have come on and changed the game. Wilshere could have come on for Noble. I wouldn't have even put Anderson on. I would have swapped off Noble for Wilshere. It's genuinely deflating every week, West Ham losing. And I'm sure Spurs fans can relate, but it's the players as well. It's just some of them. It's particularly Felipe Anderson. Jarrod Bowen's been at the club for less time, and he's already making more of an impact and grafting more than Anderson has for most of the season. And that says a lot about Bowen. So praising Bowen. Declan Rice, if we get relegated, he'll leave. Seems too good for West Ham. Anderson leaves, I won't be too bothered. As for the other players, Noble should be dropped for the game against Chelsea. We should have Sebastian Haller back for that game and Angelo Ogbonna. Those are 2 positives. Chelsea have to play 3 times in 6 days. They'll probably be run down. So if given their potential fatigue, West Ham need to take advantage of that. They won't play until next Wednesday. The other thing that I'd suggest at is possibly replacing David Moyes with Kevin Nolan. I wouldn't be against that at all. Nolan understands West Ham. He understands how to work with you young players. I think he'd get best out of the team, at least. I wouldn't be against Nolan becoming manager of West Ham. In fact, I'd be all for it. So Moyes' management right now is not justifying his "all I do is win" speech. That's just talking a good one. Your actions speak louder than words. You're the one who puts those players out. You're the one who's not starting the striker. You're the one who's costing West Ham points because you're putting out the team and they ain't performing. Having said that, how many of these West Ham players do you think would play better if they went to another club? It could be Moyes that's hindering their morale. Having said that, it's not just Moyes. I'm not totally blaming him. It's from the top down. It's from the board down. I mean, appointing Avram Grant and then David Moyes twice and thinking that's a great solution is like, what? How's that going to help? How's that going to change your club's fortune? I don't want to take back Sam Allardyce right now because at least, yeah, he got those results when we needed them. He never got relegated as a Premier League manager, bear in mind. I'd have him back in a heartbeat. I don't want West Ham relying on the teams below us. That's not going to get anywhere. West Ham have to be their own people. I said this again in the Wolves game last week. West Ham have to be their own team and do it their way. It has to come from them. I'm not having this dependency on other teams. It's not right. West Ham just seems to play the victim card every single season and be like, yeah, we stayed up, but it was because the teams below us were worse. That's the reality of it. In the last few times West Ham survived, it's teams below being worse. And luck, fate and chance is not something that I really believe in, or believe that those are the predominant factors. But we seem like we're going to probably need him more than ever at this rate. Thank you for watching the Aftermath. I will do the pre-game show against Chelsea next week. Might be a little bit late uploading the Aftermath from the Chelsea game because July the 1st, it's Canada Day. It's a national holiday. I might be out all day for that. So it may be a day or two late. I'll try and do my best to get it up as soon as I can. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe for more content. I'll see you all soon.